Well. One day after the Micah Parsons trade, now we get Brian Schottenheimer's response. And from what I'm hearing, and I haven't listened to it, but from the reactions, it is priceless. Let's go. Yeah. We are the Dallas Cowboys. I am now more excited about this team than I ever was. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy hitters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And if you like this video or this live stream, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And yes, we are live. And if you haven't become a channel member or subscriber yet, please do. We have a lot of great things coming up this season. Now let's talk facts. Okay, so this is going to take up the majority of the show. We have the Brian Schottenheimer press conference. Now, you may have seen it, but you've never seen it with me. We're gonna break this thing all the way down to the very last compound. Then, we got a couple of reactions today I wanna talk about. There's a reaction from, I forget the guy's name from Get Up, but it's a reaction from Get Up. He talks about the Micah Parsons thing. We got an issue, Cam Newton talks about the Micah Parsons thing. We got the Kenny Clark interview. I am so excited for this defensive tackle for the Cowboys that we now finally have a chance to stop the run. Then, we're going to look at Michael Irvin's second reaction to the Micah Parsons trade. Michael Irvin is pretty distraught, but y'all already know Michael Irvin, my favorite Dallas Cowboy wide receiver of all time. My favorite wide receiver of all time. Don't you worry. Michael Irvin came around on Brian Schottenheimer. He'll come around on this thing with Micah Parsons. And then if we get the chance, if we get the time, we'll look at some of the responses from 105.3 The Fan. But this is where we are today. The Shotty Presser, Get Up reaction, Cam Newton, Kenny Clark interview, Irvin's second reaction, and 105.3 The Fan. We have a loaded show today. Let's get it. All right. Let's get this roll call in. And we got a lot to cover. So we're going to try to, I know I'm not going to be able to get everybody. Yesterday, man, we had so many. I couldn't get everybody in. But nevertheless, let's see how many we can get in 2 to 3 minutes. Y'all ready? Let's go. Roll call. Let's see what we can get in. Paul Lander, what's going on with you? Welcome to the show. Dominic Pittman, the regular, what's going on? Happy Friday, G. He says, as much as I would love for this to be over with, it won't for a while. Team got to rally and be prepared for those Dirty Birds Thursday. Let's go. Dominic Pittman, let me tell you something. Winning cures all. If the Cowboys can beat the Eagles without Micah Parsons and then go up against the Green Bay Packers and beat the Green Bay Packers with Micah Parsons, all this talk will be done. Let's go, let's get it. Paul Lander, let me read something. He said, I think a lot of people are missing that even though Michael is gone, we're going to have a pretty good defensive tackle room, edge rushers and linebackers. Man, this defense is the best we've had in years, even without Micah Parsons. John Jones said, what up, G Money? I said, it's a New Jack City. Let's go. Daniel Rangers, what's going on? Good to see you up in here, my right hand man. Let's keep rocking this thing. Renan Zanguini, what's going on with you? He says, still believe that we could get more picks from this negotiation, but it is what it is. I don't think there were people offering anything else. I'd have to know, but I don't think they were. John Henry in the crib, let's go Cowboys. Inglewood Trojans up in here. Sir Nose 65, let's get it. My man, the big Rombowski. Let's go up in here. P-Funk 77. The Cowboys will not win another Super Bowl under Jerry Jones. P-Funk, I think they're going to get them one. I think they're getting one in the next 3 seasons. I've been saying 2026, and I'm sticking to it, especially after this trade. The Cowboys are getting them one. My sister Niecy from the beginning, what's going on with you? Blue Star, Dallas TV, what's going on? He said, man, ain't looking back. We're going forward, and we got our one tech as well as Kenny Clark. We'll be a lot better than Parsons, whether folks hate it or love it. This is Dak's team, not Micah's. Never has been. Yes, sir. Brian Worley up in here. He said, let's go Cowboys. C. Matt D. Honestly, I believe we got better. I am agreeing with you 100%. Sir Noel said, can't wait for game 4. Man, I'm ready for game number 1. Miss Matrix, what's going on? She said, okay, G, that's taking a little far. She said, loses best defensive player. Now we should be the most excited. I'm interested in how this plays out. Miss Matrix, I'm excited. I'm excited because the team will be better without Micah Parsons. Trust me when I tell you. Cowboys for life. He said, I'm excited, G. Good move by them boys. Traded the drama queen. I got picks for Trader Bill going, but fierce competition. And he says, DC4L, it's going to be all good. Manny Norman in the crib. What's going on? TD Worley, what's going on with you? Jamal Ism, what's going on? DC4L Super Bowl, here we come. Let's go. Jesus Barroto, what is going on? He said the same thing. Cowboys, better off. I agree. My man Robert Simmons, what's going on with you? He said, well. He said, we also need to we also got a cornerback and a safety with Kenny Clark and then 2 first-round picks. I love what the Cowboys have done. Gwen Bowden is in the congregation, in the house. What's going on with you? Sam Neal, he said, I find it funny that the media is G. Hey, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Let's go. DJ Sorax, what's going on with you? Let's get this thing going. Philly D up in here. What's going on, Philly D? Boy, I cannot wait. So it's going to be on Thursday. It's on it popping. Cowboys for life. KC is a beast. He actually is. Kenny Clark is nice, y'all. Kenny Clark is nice. Is nice. Get right or get left. Blessings to the chat. He says, peace to G. Let's go. All right. Dale Colwell, what's going on with you? All right, we're going to try to get this in. It's so many of y'all coming in here. I appreciate you. We're going to have to get to it. Let's go. Bruce, 3613 up in here. Fat Boy Preach, what's going on? Big Flock, what up with you? Buddha, a master. What's going on with you? We got to get this thing going. Nisa said, G, do you think Jerry would trade for Myles Garrett? Boy, Jerry traded for Myles Garrett. Nisa, this whole fan base would erupt. I would love for him to do it. Michael Hickman, what's going on? He said he loves the trade. JCT Slice, he said, we got a run stopper. I feel better about the trade now. I was angry about the trade at first, and we still have that. We'll be fine. We got us a run stopper. And Jerry Jones is basically telling us what good is a pass rush without a run stopper. I love it. I love it. All right, let's get this thing going, guys. There's so many of y'all in here. I appreciate you. Mike 405 OKC up in this thing. What is going on with you? All right, let's get this thing. Robert Shook is in the crib. Roland Brooks in here. Cowboys fan. Let's get this thing going. Brandon Van Gier, I think it is. Brandon, let's go. Let's get it. Ice Cold Cowboy. He is ice cold. Can't forget my man up in here. All right, let's get this thing. All right, we'll get some more greens as we go. Smoke check 114. What up? All right, so let's get down to business. Brian Schottenheimer interview. I love it. Brian Schottenheimer. I haven't listened to it. But let me tell you something. If there's one thing I know about Brian Schottenheimer knows how to talk during these situations. And I got a strange feeling. Brian Schottenheimer will be saying all of the right things. Without further ado, let's check out Brian Schottenheimer.
That name? Yeah. Get some Elite Eights in today.
You good? Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Jerry had said yesterday that he talked to his inner circle, and I assume you were part of that, and it was unanimous in trading Micah. Why did you think it was the right thing to do?
Well, I think, we just went through the whole process, and at the end of the day, it was unanimous. This is not something we came about. It wasn't something where it was like an overnight thing. We had talked about it, and at the end of the day, I think when you look at a football team, when you can potentially add up to 4 or 5 players and things like that, it gives you the ability to do some things. We were certainly excited about the addition of Kenny Clark. I've played against Kenny. He's very, very disruptive inside. And again, when we looked at it, it was, something that at the end of the day, when you get a chance to get things back in return that you're excited about, then, you make the move. And so, obviously, at the end of the day, we got to maximize the picks that we have, and that'll obviously be the plan.
When you had talked to him over the weekend after the last preseason game, was it in your mind that there's a possibility he might not be with me?
When I talked to Micah?
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, look, it's one of those situations where when all my interaction with the players, it's, I'm checking on them, I'm talking to them, and but no, I didn't know. You never know. You're not certain until it's done, and when it's done, and that's the best way to handle that stuff.
Now, think about what they're saying. It is undeniable. It was unanimous. Jerry went to the front office. Jerry went to the coaches. Jerry went to the leadership council. Jerry said it was unanimous. One of the things with Micah Parsons, I said this before. I was wondering, were we finally going to see Micah Parsons play within a system? Because we've seen Micah Parsons for the last 4 years not play inside of a system. He was listed as a linebacker, barely played linebacker. Listed as an edge rusher, but not a defensive end. A liability on the defensive end front, but he was great at pass rushing. And the crazy part is, and this defense suffered for it. All we were was a pass rushing team. And the reality is, if you look at what the Cowboys were on the edge, we're all going to have to admit, the Cowboys have finally admitted Mazi Smith is not what the doctor ordered at the one tech position. Now, y'all don't sleep on Mazi. Mazi is still going to be a part of the plan. Mazi is going to be a part of some type of rotation, I'm pretty sure. The Cowboys aren't going to throw Mazi Smith in the trash. At least I don't think they are. Mazi will be a part of the plan. But Kenny Clark is the plan. Now you got Kenny Clark, you got Oso Digizua. So now you got to ask yourself, I know we'd love to have it all, but I think we did get it all because now we got someone that can plug up the middle. Jerry already had went and got us. I told y'all when we got James Houston, I told y'all he could play. Nobody's saying James Houston is Micah Parsons, but if you go and look at James Houston before he got hurt, James Houston was balling. You got James Houston. You got Dante Fowler, who's got something to prove. You got Donovan Ezeraku, who I believe was the Micah Parsons replacement all along. He was the Micah Parsons replacement all along. And now you got Sam Williams. The Cowboys have replaced Micah Parsons quietly with 4 players. Did I not tell y'all you cannot replace Micah Parsons with 1 player? You have to replace him with multiple players. And the Cowboys replaced him with multiple players. Not only did they replace him on the edges, but they replaced him in a place where he wasn't even effective in the first place, the middle of the field. Yeah, the Cowboys defense got better. Straight up, the Cowboys defense got better. And I said this during the preseason. They purposely, for all these people out here now trying to all of a sudden hate on Mazi. Yeah, he struggled during the preseason. No, he didn't. Mazi Smith didn't struggle during the preseason. They, on purpose, had Mazi Smith not showing anything. Did anybody notice it? Mazi showed nothing. Mazi didn't show any of the moves that we saw on tape, on his college tape. None of the stuff we saw him do in the college games. He did none of those things because Brian Schottenheimer and Matt Eberflus, on purpose, they wanted everything vanilla. Everything vanilla. Let me tell y'all something. We don't even know what this Cowboys team looks like yet. We don't even know what it looked like yet. We've been talking about backups, y'all. We've been talking about backups. Meanwhile, we got I guarantee you, by week 6, Cowboys will be top 5 offense in the league. Top 5 offense in the league by week 6. I will not be surprised if the Cowboys have a top 3 or even number 1 offense in the league by the end of the season, as long as Dak Prescott stays healthy. Jerry said and made the decision. And I'm going to tell you something else Jerry did that people aren't giving him credit for. Jerry looked at the way Micah Parsons has carried on all throughout this whole campaign of his contract. And Jerry has finally given in and said, the true leader of this team is the one that when his contract came up, he didn't go out there and create nonsense in the doggone media. He didn't try to tear the team apart. Rather, he kept the team together. He kept his composure. He said all the right things. He did all the right things. And the true leader of this team is Dak Prescott. So let me continue to build around Dak. That's who the leader of this team is. That's who Jerry is saying we're running through. Jerry is saying we're running through Dak Prescott in the story. No one else. I'm telling us, guys, another reason why it was a great idea to get rid of Micah Parsons. There are some people in this fan base. There are many of the media members. I'm going to say it again, and I keep saying it. They're not fans of the Dallas Cowboys. There are media members, I'm telling you, that write for and cover the Dallas Cowboys. They're not Dallas Cowboys fans. It is blatantly obvious. How do you fall more in love with a player than a team? And for some of these media members, man, let me tell you something. This Dallas Cowboys team better galvanize and they better galvanize and they better bond and they need to know. They need to say right now we know how everybody thinks. So you're telling me that the media is saying that this team was Micah Parsons? What? If I'm this team, if I'm on this defense, we gonna make it our business. If I'm on this defense, we are going to make it our business to show these fair weather fans, these work for the Cowboy media members who don't actually like the Cowboys, for all the 3-letter, 4-letter networks, for all the content creators who flipping out because of Micah Parsons, we going to make it our business. We going to show them what we about. We are not called the Micah Parsons. We are the Dallas Cowboys. It is crazy, the response to Micah Parsons, who don't throw the ball, who don't kick the ball, who don't run the ball, who don't catch the ball. He don't do anything on the offensive side of the ball. I could see if we were talking about a Deion Sanders type player. If we were talking about a Deion Sanders type player, Deion was a kick returner. Deion was a punt returner. Deion shut down one side of the field as the cornerback position. Deion Sanders played wide receiver. Deion Sanders could change the game at the blink of an eye with a kick return, with an interception return for 6, with a touchdown, with a deep bomb. If we're talking about a Deion Sanders type player, I could at least understand 30% of the conversation. An undersized edge rusher who don't play defensive end, who is not good in the run, who the only thing he was truly bringing to the team was pass rushing. The same player who is supposed to be a generational player, but he's not generational in the playoffs. 1 sack in 4 games in the playoffs. 2 sacks down the stretch in 2023 in a 7-game stretch against the hardest part of the schedule. I'm not knocking Micah. I'm just telling the truth about Micah Parsons. He was and he is. Unless Green Bay shows us something different. Micah Parsons is a one-trick pony on the edge. Period. In the story. On the edge, Micah Parsons is a one-trick pony. Is he elite as a pass rusher? Yes. Elite. Generational? Generational. I'm kind of like Warren Sapp. We have to be a little careful sometimes talking about generational. Because you typically don't get the generational label until there's a Super Bowl involved. Unless, your stats are just so head and shoulders above any and everything we've ever seen. But it's not that. This team was never going to be a team. And this is what Brian Schottenheimer realized. It was never going to be a team. It was never going to be his team. It was never going to be Dak's team. It was never going to be the Dallas Cowboys as long as Micah Parsons was on the team. Can't wait to see what his podcast look like when he come back now. Yeah, it'll be popular for the first few weeks, but after week 4, after they play the Dallas Cowboys, that podcast is going kaput. Micah Parsons let David Mulugeta talk him out of being a Dallas Cowboy for life, and I'm sorry, that carries privileges. We'll see how it turns out, but I don't care what he does. He will never be what he would have been in Dallas. I know exactly what Brian Schottenheimer's talking about. They had to make this move. They had to make it because he was destroying the team, and they all knew it. That's why when Jerry came to him, unanimous. Get him out of here. We don't want him laying on tables. We don't want every time somebody's coming through practice, the team is all hyped up. Michael Parsons over there, he's coming out with his jersey around his neck, no longer associating with the team. Sitting over there with his hand on his hand, and they're trying to ask people about body language. Well, Dak Prescott said he's not a body language expert. I'm not a body language expert, but I can tell you a few things about body language. It tells things about how a person feels. And even if you don't feel a certain way, if you look a certain way, I assume you feel a certain way. And if I feel you feel a certain way, if I assume you feel a certain way, it affects how I look at you. And the one thing I believe this entire organization came to a conclusion of, he's not a leader. Not a leader. Wouldn't take Dak Prescott's advice. Wouldn't take CeeDee Lamb's advice. Wouldn't take Brian Schottenheimer's advice. No, not a leader. Period in the story. Man got underpaid going to Green Bay with the state taxes and everything you figure in. He got underpaid. Underpaid. Jerry was offering him more guaranteed money. Underpaid. Jerry was offering him a partnership off the field with business and trying to help make him a billionaire. He lost in the long run. But hey, all the luck in the world of Micah Parsons, all the success in the world of Micah Parsons. I hope he goes on and be successful with the Green Bay Packers, except every time they see the Dallas Cowboys. I hope the Dallas Cowboys destroy Micah Parsons and the Green Bay Packers. Let me get these super chats, and then we're going to go back to Brian Schottenheimer. Blue Blood, appreciate that super chat. Appreciate you. Star Guardian X up in here. What's going on? He said, gee, can you believe it? The Cowboys are actually building a team for the first time in 30 years. I love it. Yes, sir, Star Guardian X. Say it for the people in the back. Jerry made a decision for the team. Yes, sir. I'm telling you, Star Guardian X. He made a decision for the team, and that's the part that people don't understand. I told them, Jerry moving different. Everybody said Jerry wasn't moving different. This different enough for you? Darren Posey, my man, what's going on? Brian Broaddus and Mickey Spagnola always said, don't get married to the players. Here today, gone tomorrow, as in football terms. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Brian Posey. Facts. Darren Davis Jr., what up? He said, He said, I hope the Packers have 2 failure seasons so the Cowboys can draft in the top 10 twice. Yes, sir. Darren Davis Jr., let me tell you something. You know what I love about this kind of stuff? The people who immediately assume that these picks, because I even said I think these picks are going to be at the back. But you know what I have to acknowledge? It's a battle of attrition. The NFL is a battle of attrition. You think that it's going one way today, and one move and everything changes. We're going to see. We're going to see. The Green Bay Packers were already winning without Micah Parsons. Y'all do know 11-6, 12-5 is not going to be good enough for the Green Bay Packers. If that's all they get with Micah Parsons, that ain't good enough. A playoff win with Micah Parsons isn't good enough. Green Bay Packers, with all the money they're giving up, have y'all seen all the money they're giving up for Micah Parsons? All the money they're having to pay Kenny Clark? They're eating the money with Kenny Clark. The Green Bay Packers are basically saying that Micah Parsons is the missing piece for them to go to the Super Bowl. And so they're saying they're mortgaging the Super Bowl based on Micah Parsons being the missing piece. Okay. We're going to see how that works out for them. Meanwhile, I think for the Cowboys, this is the best move they could have made long term.
God.
Brian Todd Archer with ESPN. Was there ever a time that you thought it just wasn't going to work out with Micah?
I think I've been pretty upfront and honest that I was confident he would be back. I think at the end of the day, we're, happy for Micah, his family. You look at the deal that he got, that's awesome. I wish him nothing but the best. I mean, he's done an incredible job here for the Cowboys for the last, 4 years. And, but again, you never know. I mean, you never know how these things are going to play out. And at the end of the day, I'm excited about, all the additions that we've added, not just Kenny, but again, we've got some pretty good DBs that we've added. This is something you guys know all the time. It's a 365-day a year, but to get, Triquez, Bridges, and Reddy Stewart, guys that, we were excited about, to get Trevor Keegan. At the end of the day, we're about trying to upgrade the roster any chance we get.
And then did you address the trade with the players today?
Yeah, I did. And again, what I told the players, it wasn't just about Micah. I said, this has been a tough weekend for a lot of guys. There's players that we had to cut, that I had to sit down and, tell them, hey, we're going to waive you, and here's why, and this is what, we're excited about with you, and here's areas that you can get better at. And then we were fortunate to get almost all those guys back. But I just said that at the end of the day, this business it's about that. It's about having hard conversations, and I felt very comfortable with the message to the team today.
And then you mentioned the picks and then what it could be in the future. What does this do for the Cowboys right now?
Well, again, I think, nothing's changed. My goals haven't changed. Our team goals haven't changed. I hit the players on that today after I talked about, just the tough couple days, for all the guys. And it doesn't change. The standard is the standard. I said that. We, with all the new pieces and people we had in there, I needed to hit the goal, which is to win a World's Championship. I needed to hit that we also want to build one of the greatest professional sports cultures in the world. And that's part of the deal. When you add new pieces, you have to make sure they understand your vision. They have to understand your culture. They have to understand the way we view this game. And I think that's something we take a lot of pride in.
Now,
what if you could get rid of long tent setup forever?
I want you to think about something that Brian just said. And I promise you this was a part of the conversation. Let me read a couple comments first, then I'm gonna make my comment here. Let me get the super chat. Sir Knows, appreciate you. Appreciate that super chat, Sir Knows. My man Ron Hanna. Ron Hanna said, man, he was a locker room cancer. Can't have this with a first-time head coach. I applaud them for getting him out of here. This is exactly where I'm about to go. You could not. It was not possible for the Dallas Cowboys to have the greatest sports culture in the world with Micah Parsons on the team. It wasn't possible. It wasn't possible. My man Skull Unknown in here, man. I love my man Skull Unknown. He said, I love my man Skull Unknown. He said, Michael can have a popular podcast anytime he's a top 10 defender in the NFL and a young player. Not true. Not true. Because Skull Unknown, you know how I know it's not true? Because explain to me why the other top 4 pass rushers in this league don't have podcasts. You don't think that if you don't think that other people, that if they saw the success of Micah Parsons with the Cowboys and Bleacher Report, you don't think other organizations would be approaching Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, TJ Watt, people like this? Why are they not approaching them? Why are they not approaching them? A big part of Micah Parsons' success on his podcast was him being a Dallas Cowboy. And if we really pay attention, it wasn't just him being a Dallas Cowboy, Skull Unknown. It was the shade that he was willing to throw towards the Dallas Cowboys. It was the shade he was willing to throw. Nobody was talking about Micah Parsons' podcast except when he said things about the Dallas Cowboys. That's when people were talking. No one cared about the podcast as long as he wasn't talking about the Cowboys. It was when he would take shots at Dak Prescott. It was when he would make top 10 lists of players and what he thought about this team and bringing on players who had previously beaten the brakes off the Cowboys. It was that type of stuff that was getting the attention to his podcast because the Cowboys are news. Skull Unknown, nobody cares about the Green Bay Packers but Green Bay Packers fans. Nobody cares about the business of the Green Bay Packers. Tell me who. The only time teams are concerned and fans are concerned about the Green Bay Packers is when the Green Bay Packers are playing their team. Other than that, they're not concerned. The Dallas Cowboys, they lead every segment of every television show in the land during football season and when football season is not going. No, Micah Parsons lost on this one, Skull Unknown. Being a Cowboy is what made Micah Parsons the media personality and the media darling he was. But he's going to figure out real quick that unless he continues to talk about the Cowboys, man, nobody care about the Green Bay Packers. Y'all do understand. There is actually no pressure on the Cowboys in the grand scheme of things because listening to a whole lot of people, there are no expectations without Micah Parsons now. The season is over. The season is over without Micah Parsons. What's the expectations for the Cowboys? But I bet you this, the expectations for the Green Bay Packers, it's out the roof right now. Out the roof. I guarantee you, if they don't win the Super Bowl with Micah Parsons during this contract, Matt LaFleur is gone. If not, he will be gone. And I promise you, and if it don't look the way they want it, he'll be gone in the next 2 years. I promise you he will. I promise you he will. Straight up. Robert Shook said, time to get rid of the overpaid prima donnas. This was a good start. The next one is, I'm telling us, the next one I believe is going to be Trayvon Diggs. He says he wants to remain a Cowboy, but I think it's going to be Trayvon Diggs. Roland said, I don't know why the media isn't behind this. The Cowboys are much better. Roland, because that won't get them the clicks. Roland, that won't get them the attention they want. That won't get them what they want. They want eyes. They want viewership. They want the controversy. They can't get what they want. It's a crying shame the way some of these people are reacting to this. It's crazy. All right, let's get some super chats in right here. I appreciate y'all again. Roland, I appreciate that $5 super chat. Roland said Green Bay exposed Micah in the playoffs, and he's supposed to be their missing piece. Facts. The pressure was on the Green Bay Packers, y'all. They have basically mortgaged the future on this. They have mortgaged the future. They're saying that this is the Super Bowl for us. We're going to see. Throwback Sports Videos. Appreciate that super chat. He said, D-Law was right all along. I'll take Myles Garrett. D-Law somewhere right now saying, I told you so. User PK8 U437V. He said, Kenny looks huge. Forgot what that was like since we haven't had a true one tech in like decades at this point. Glad we have size there again. Yes, sir. He's a towering man. Yeah, he looks the part. He absolutely looks the part. Bruce, appreciate that $2 super chat. He said, I'm hyped more now than before. I said the same thing today. Yes, sir. I'm hyped up. I'm hyped up. Football Fanatic in the house. He said, this is great for team building. Football Fanatic. This man is saying something without saying it. They were never going to have the greatest culture in football with Micah Parsons. It was always going to be about Micah Parsons. Isn't it strange he didn't do his podcast in the offseason? I mean, Micah Parsons has had, maybe I'm missing it, but Micah Parsons literally has not been practicing. If there was a great time to do your podcast, do it now. It ain't like you've been playing. The Cowboys said no. It just didn't make sense no more. Hey, Sir Nose. Sir Nose, appreciate that super chat. Sir Nose said you need to hit that drum 5 times speaking the truth. That's for you, Sir Nose. Let's go. They were never going to have the culture they wanted with Micah. And they know it. They know it. They know it. They knew it. James Slater reported they were talking about the front office didn't want him 2 years ago. Do y'all realize that 2 years ago was 2023 when the Cowboys were on an incredible run? They were saying then they didn't want him. I agree with what some are saying. The Cowboys probably should have made this move earlier. But Jerry didn't want to get rid of Micah. I don't care what Jerry is saying, he didn't want to get rid of Micah. And people are asking, why didn't he make this decision in April? Because Jerry and Micah are negotiating in April. And Jerry is thinking that him and Micah are actually going to come to an agreement because Jerry is already knowing he's offered him an astronomical deal. Did we not understand that Jerry actually revealed that Michael not only went to him once, he went to him twice, then he went to Stephen Jones, then they get everything written up, and then David Mulugeta comes in and say, and now we can start negotiating. Jerry said, no, we've already negotiated. People didn't know what Jerry Jones was talking about, and now we're seeing the truth. And I'm saying all that to say, Brian Schottenheimer just dropped a megaton bomb that we all knew, even if we don't admit it. They were never, ever going to be able to reach the heights they wanted to reach as a culture and a team with Micah Parsons. It's facts.
Where were you at, and just what was your initial reaction when you see that this actually is happening?
I got a call from Jerry Stephen, and once I got the call from them, what I wanted to do was reach out to our players, and so I reached out to, I'd say, I don't know how many it was, a bunch of the leaders, and just, I wanted them to hear my voice. You never know how guys are going to take, the news like that. But I thought it was important for them to know two things. Me, I'm a connection guy. I'm not afraid to have hard conversations. And so, I talked to, I would say, 12 to 14 guys, and we had some real candid conversations that I thought was very good. And again, at the end of the day, it's one of those things that some people might shy away from wanting to do that, but I just felt very strongly that these guys needed to hear my voice.
I appreciate Brian Schottenheimer. This is where his communication skills actually do help this team. And I appreciate the fact that I believe that he's not revealing everything. Because let me tell you something. I think they've been talking about this all along. Jerry basically said they had been talking about this all along, in a sense that Micah Parsons not being on this team, they had been talking about it. Brian Schottenheimer right now is cool as the other side of the pillow. Does anybody see what this man body language is telling us? Let me tell you, as someone who is an unofficial, I'm not an official. Let me be an unofficial body language expert. Brian Schottenheimer is showing the same thing to me that I felt after Micah Parsons was traded. When my wife sent me the message and said Micah Parsons was traded, my son sent it to me. My wife called me and said, I can't believe you're not talking about Micah Parsons being traded. I called AOC on the phone. I said, Micah Parsons has been traded. Let me tell you what my immediate feelings were. Relief. Relief. Not the relief as much as Micah Parsons is gone, but the relief that we didn't have to deal with another day. We didn't have to deal another day. Is Micah Parsons going to sign? When is he going to get extended? When is he going to get extended? Is he going to play the first game under the fifth-year option? What is he going to do? Now he's getting a second opinion on his back. This is getting ridiculous. Relief. Relief. Man, let me tell y'all something. Having some success as a content creator can bring you some income. But the one thing that I don't want to do, I don't want to bring in income at the expense of this team being ran through hell. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be someone who tries to capitalize on this team's misery. Because that's what a lot of people do if you don't pay attention. A lot of people that talk about the Cowboys, they actually capitalize off the misery of the Cowboys. They're always harping on why you shouldn't like the Cowboys, why you shouldn't like Jerry Jones, why you shouldn't like Dak Prescott, why you shouldn't like. Every time you look up, it's about why you shouldn't like something about the Dallas Cowboys, why you shouldn't like the fact the Cowboys traded Micah Parsons. Relief. I felt relief. And this is why I'm so excited now, because somebody finally said, let's release this team. Let's release this team and now let them be totally focused on football more than they ever have. We don't have to worry about the whole team changing up the darn profile on X, putting a picture of a player. We don't have to worry about people always trying to say, what do you think about the stuff with Micah Parsons? That will pass pretty soon. You watch what I tell you. The players are going to have to face it for a little bit. But I was relieved. And I appreciate Brian Schottenheimer because I'm sure he already knew. I'm sure. I'm sure Jerry had already been alluding to this behind closed doors. I'm sure. Brian Schottenheimer has remained cool as the other side of the pillow. And this is exactly what you need from a coach during a time like this. Show don't stop. This show don't stop. One monkey don't stop a show. Hey, bro, we got a job to do. We're trying to win the Super Bowl. And I'm telling you, if I'm Brian Schottenheimer, I already know what my rally cry is. They are saying we can't do this without Micah Parsons. Whoa, boy, I wish it was me. Whoa, I wish it was me. I already know what I would be harping on. They saying that one player made this team. We're going to show them. We're going to show them we're a team. That's what we're going to show them. Let me read some more of these super chats. I appreciate y'all rocking with me today. Junior, Crawford Law He says, culture changes like medicine. Hate to take it, but good for you in the long run. Yes, sir, Junior. I'm with you. I'm with you. A lot of times the change that we need is the change that we hate. But it's the very thing that helps us to be exactly who God wants us to be. Robert Simmons, appreciate that super chat. He said, hey, G, for that Micah trade, we got the second cap space in the league. Now we sit at $42 million. Yes, sir, Robert Simmons. Watch what Jerry does. Jerry's gonna show everybody. I got a strange feeling. Jerry gonna get Ty Smith done, no problem. Deron Bland done, no problem. George Pickens done, no problem. Y'all might not remember when I said this, and I've been saying this. All roads have been pointing to George Pickens. All roads have been pointing to George Pickens the moment he stepped on the team. I'm telling y'all, Jerry Jones has got visions of sugar plums dancing in his head. Jerry Jones is literally seeing Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper 2.0. And I think George Pickens is more talented than Alvin Harper was at that point in his career where George Pickens is now. Jerry is having visions of sugar plums dancing in his head. He's finally got the defensive tackle that they have been failing at. And I don't understand people talking about, a 9-year player. Yeah, I want a 9-year player. I want a proven commodity. I want a 3-time Pro Bowler that the only reason why he stumbled last year was because of a doggone bunion on his toe. Yeah, I want this dude in here. Mozzie ain't where we want him yet. Let's see, can we get Mozzie to take another step behind this dude? And if he don't take another step, then you trade him next year. But the Cowboys got that D tackle they wanted. They got that D tackle that they wanted that they were not going to be able to get. Tony Luzato, appreciate that $1.99 super chat. He said you rolling. Let's go. Let's go, Cowboys. All right, let's hear some more Brian Schottenheimer.
We were out of training camp. It was pretty obvious that the edge rusher group might be your guys' deepest position. How much did that factor into this?
That was a big part of it. I think, you're always looking at different areas, and when you look at the guys that we have that can create, pass rush, Dante and Sam, certainly drafting a guy like Donovan. James Houston's a guy that's come out of nowhere, that we found on the streets, and Marshawn Nealon, there's guys that we have that play inside, that can play outside. So it was part of the decision, but this was not something that we just stumbled upon and said, yeah, let's do this. It was well thought out. It was a lot of conversations about it, and then again at the end of the day, you got to make sure that it works.
That's the key.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. How much of the timing of this?
Hold on, you got to make sure it works. That's right. Skull Unknown. He says traded them to a team where we had a hard time stopping the run. How was that good for the team? Skull Unknown, because the player who we traded away was the reason why we couldn't stop the run. Yes, sir, Skull Unknown. He's the reason why we couldn't. He's one of the reasons why we couldn't stop the run, Skull Unknown. Skull Unknown, do you not realize that the game plan is out on how to beat Micah Parsons? You run at him, not away from him. Even Jerry Jones joked in the press conference about running at him. Everybody knows this, Skull Unknown. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows that Micah Parsons has been a liability in the run game. Brian Broader said it. 60% of the runs against the Dallas Cowboys were where? On the outside. Guess who's on the outside? D-Law got hurt. Micah Parsons on the other side. They were running right at him. Even Micah Parsons complained about it. Even Micah Parsons complained about it. They ran right at him. He's an elite pass rusher, but he's undersized at the defensive end. He struggles against a bigger offensive tackles. He struggles against chips, double teams. When you talking about elite players, stuff like that, go back and look at Charles Haley tape. Go back and look at Charles Haley tape. Charles Haley was shedding that stuff like it was nothing, still being disruptive, still getting hits on the quarterback. Yes, this helped the team. Bring in what can help you. You got you a run stopper in the middle. You already got Marshawn Nealon on the edge. He'll be your end in the run situations. Marshawn Nealon is the brand new D-Law. We already got this taken care of. We got full-size defensive ends now. Dante Fowler, full-size defensive end. We're good to go. The Cowboys are going to do something that they have not been doing in a while. They're going to have multiple looks on defense. They're going to be able to have different players for different situations. We're not going to be locked into, we got to play Micah Parsons. We got to play Micah Parsons on the edge because if we try to make him line up somewhere else, he's going to get mad and then it's going to disrupt the team because Micah Parsons is going to be sulking on the sideline and then he'll be giving interviews saying that he didn't want to play at linebacker or he didn't want to line up here or he'll be on his podcast saying that he don't know why the Cowboys did this. It was the best thing they could have done because now they got players that will actually play within the system and we don't have to worry about them complaining to the media or anyone else. Yes, Skull Unknown. It was a great move. It's a great move. What was he doing for us in the run game? Nothing. Where were we getting gashed? In the run game. It's a great move. And especially when you're talking about playing the Philadelphia Eagles, the #1 rush team in the league. I got news for you. I went back and looked at Micah Parsons' last 2 games against the Philadelphia Eagles. 2 tackles in each game. And they slaughtered us on the ground. They slaughtered us on the ground with Micah Parsons. They slaughtered us. Absolutely slaughtered us. Kennard, my man, what's going on? He said no clowns allowed. Appreciate that super chat. Star Guardian said Winfrey and now Clark with Osa. Jerry is cooking. Yes, appreciate those super chats. I'm telling us, we're going to have to admit Micah Parsons was nothing but an edge rusher for us. That's it. That's it. Tell me what else he was. What else was he? Love Micah Parsons, but what else was he? Tell me what he was. Some of that could be the Cowboys using him wrong. Some of that could be he didn't have players around him. Those things are true. But in the grand scheme of things, all you have in Micah Parsons is an edge rusher. That's all you have. He didn't want to play within a system. I'm glad because I'm telling you, I was already saying, how would he play in the system? Zimmer just got to the point that Zimmer just said, we told Michael he could line up where he want to and do what he want to do. What? Even Troy Aikman said during a broadcast, Zimmer must really think a lot of Michael because he just told him to line up where he wants to. No. Even Troy said that was unprecedented. How does that help your team when you got one player on the defense who you're just saying to do what you want to do? So how does that help the other 10 players when they have to play within a system and he gets to do what he wants to do? Hogwash. I'm glad they did this. Hogwash. I don't want a player that I can't coach. I don't want a player on my team that I can't coach. You go back and look at some of the most elite players in this league, and this is why people saying he's another Lawrence Taylor. Stop that nonsense. No, Lawrence played within the system, understood the system, understood where everybody was supposed to be, including himself. Lawrence Taylor was a student of the game. Reggie White was a student of the game. I have never heard anybody call Micah Parsons a student of the game. The only thing I heard people say he's an edge rusher. Was he a great edge rusher? Yeah. But what else did he bring? Because he didn't bring one of the most important things you got to bring to a team. Didn't bring leadership, straight up, and we know he didn't. We got to be honest with ourselves.
Not wanting the cloud of the distraction to push into week 1 of the season, because you guys dealt with it all training camp, so questions on it. How much of the timing associated with it was getting it done for the season?
You know, Nick, when you talk about trades and stuff, it takes multiple people to get these things done. And again, we didn't have a timeline. You know, it's just when you make a deal, you make a deal, and we were able to make a deal. And you know, the positive thing about it is we're into a regular 7-day cycle with Philadelphia, and it's one of those things that now we get to focus on Philly.
What has the overall team reaction been, and namely?
Wait. Did you hear what he said? Exactly what I said. Haven't even heard the interview. We now get to do what? We get to focus on Philly. This man is relieved. Some headaches are not worth it. There are just some headaches that are not worth it. This man is relieved. This team is relieved. We can move forward. I love it. I love what he's saying. We can move forward. He's relieved. I'm telling you, he's relieved. And I'm telling you, there are players on this team. They are relieved. The front office, they are relieved. The only people that are not relieved who are making money off the Cowboys' misery, who want to keep writing about this whole Micah Parsons thing. Man, I've been tired of this stuff, and I'm so glad that we're going to be moving past it after this weekend. Yeah, we're going to be moving past it, because I'm going to tell you what'll make you forget about Micah quicker than you can blink your eyes and spin your head around is beating the Philadelphia Eagles. Woo, boy, I'm excited. I'm excited. Just like I told Ed Water, these are grown men, bro. Think these men sitting around, Terrence Parsons, shout out to him. He's talking about he was with players last night and they were all sick. You watch how sick they are. I bet you they left with Micah Parsons and they were like business as usual, bro. I got to study the playbook. I got practice tomorrow. I got a game to win against the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me tell you something. If I'm on this team, and I bet you some of them are thinking like this, hold on a second. Are these people saying we can't win without Micah Parsons? Shoot, I wish it was me. I already know what my mantra is. Shoot, they saying we can't win without one man. Shoot, wish it was me. Eternal Dynasty 7270, appreciate that super chat. He said, I'm glad. Hold on a second. But man, he said, I'm glad for this channel. 90% of the other channels have given up on the season. Nah, man, not me. I appreciate you, Eternal Dynasty. Now the season starts. Now the season starts. Boy, I'm telling you, I'm excited. I'm excited for this team. I'm excited for these players individually. They can focus on football the whole season. They don't have to worry about what Micah Parsons. It's one thing when you got to worry about the media and what they're going to say about your team after a game on their podcast or whatever they're saying on social media. I can push that stuff because it's not in the building. I ain't got to worry about somebody in the building up in here hating on the quarterback no more, hating on players, hating on the team, hating on whoever. Shoot, I'm loving it. Man, we get to focus on football around here. We got enough to deal with from the media with Jerry Jones being our owner. I don't want to deal now with a player. Man, I'm telling you, these guys are excited. They're excited. K. Choi said, appreciate that super chat. He said the last 4 teams last year did not have a great defensive end. They had great inside 1s and 3s. Quarterbacks hate pressure up the middle. Say it for the people in the back, K. Choice. Say it for the people in the back. Yes, sir. I'm loving it. Blue blood. Shotty has us on the right track, G. I'm with it. That's why I said even with some of the stuff I haven't liked about Shotty, I'm riding with it. I'm riding with Shotty until the wheels fall off this thing. This man is cool as the other side of the pillow. This is where his communication skills and the relationship that he's built with this team. Some people say, yeah, man, Shotty being tested. No, he not. No. This is what he built the culture for. Do y'all know you build the culture for bringing in a George Pickens? Do y'all know you build the culture so that if a Micah Parsons leave, what did I tell y'all the other day? Talent is not sustainable. Tell me I didn't say it. Talent is not sustainable. It fluctuates because you never know. You're battling attrition. You never know who's going to get traded. You never know. Talent, you can't maintain it. But you know what you can maintain? Culture and mentality. That's why you build the culture. The culture is sustainable. So that when Micah Parsons is out the door, the culture says, next man up. Tell me what I'm telling you, I understand this stuff. As someone who has been to school, as someone who has worked in corporate, as someone who is who is a man of God, as a preacher in dealing with people. People come and go. Talent fluctuates. You can't control everybody. But what you can do is you can implement a culture that sustains no matter what comes and goes. I told y'all this the other day. This is the part that Jerry's been missing, y'all. This is the part that they were talking about in the Netflix documentary. This is the part that Emmett was talking about, the part that Michael was talking about, the part that Troy, and the reason why he couldn't stand Barry Switzer. This is the part that Jimmy Johnson implemented that Jerry Jones has not been able to replace. They've all been saying it, and I told you this last week. They've been saying it wasn't the talent. We're not going to say that that team wasn't talented because I still say the 90s Cowboys was a super team. But Jimmy implemented a mentality and created a culture that could sustain bringing in crazy Charles Haley. Doggone Charles Haley was a nutcase. I don't believe there's any other team Charles Haley could have played on other than the Dallas Cowboys. That's the reason why the 49ers said, get up out of here. But Jimmy created a culture that it was sustainable. No matter how much the talent with Jimmy, no matter how much it went up and down, no matter how much it went up. This is what Phil Jackson was a master of. And this is why Phil Jackson has to be the greatest coach to ever live. Because Phil Jackson, no matter how much talent he got, he created a culture and a mentality that could hold even the greatest. And even after players leave or left Phil was able to maintain because he was a manager of egos. When you can do that, you can build championship level teams. Michael was never going to fit into a culture that says all of us because Michael was about himself. Michael Parsons was about himself no matter what anyone says. Michael was about himself. I wish him all the luck against in Green Bay except against the Dallas Cowboys. I hope he has all the success that he wants. User, I said it yesterday. It was sounding eerily like the Jalen Ramsey thing. David Mulugeta strikes again. User PK8, he says Michael equals David's latest victim. I'm going to tell you this. I hope Micah Parsons doesn't suffer the same fate. Because every time you look now at these players that he's gotten these historical deals for, I'm looking at Deshaun Watson fell off the boat. Christian Wilkins fell off the boat. Jordan Love has not lived up to one day of that contract. And now we got Micah Parsons. I hope it works out for him. I do. Because I know it's going to work out for us. Darren Davis Jr., he said, even though D-Law is a traitor, he did warn us about Micah Parsons. Appreciate that super chat. Straight up. Straight up. Straight up. It's true. All right, let's get some more Shotty, man. Shotty cooking up in here. Let's go.
Since he was super close to Micah?
Yeah, again, you'd have to ask the guys. Like I said, the real conversations I had with the guys last night, Trayvon was one of the guys I called. Obviously, he and Mike are very close, and he and I had really good conversation. And again, I'm not going to share that with you guys, but he appreciated the phone call. And again, not everybody feels like they have to do that as a head coach, but I do feel like, those guys, I wanted them to have a chance to talk to me. And I said, you guys can say anything you want to me. Here's kind of why we made the decision. Here's what went into it. And again, those conversations were powerful, but also will stay, between me and them.
And lastly, a big part of the deal is that it opens up a lot of cap space for you guys. You'll have the second most in the league right now. Do you anticipate using that cap space?
This saved me hundreds of dollars in missed appointment fees.
Yeah, of course we're about to use that cap space. We're about to sign our own.
At some point, I would think, yes, we will. I laugh about that. But, yeah, look, we're in the business of making moves. We're in the business of trying to upgrade the roster every time we get a chance to. And we're glued in on the waiver wire. Will and those guys do an awesome job. And like I've said from the very beginning, the communication between myself and Steven and Jerry and Will and those guys is terrific. And they do an incredible job of, just making it easy for us to turn on the film and look at certain guys that have traits like Triquez and Reddy Stewart that is like, okay, yeah, let's turn the film on and see what we think.
Tommy.
Let's get another super chat in here real quick. Edward Frazier, appreciate that $1.99 super chat. Yo, let's get it. Appreciate you. I also like something Lamont Boyd said. Cowboys be crying after week 1. They didn't care about stopping the run. If they did, they would address it during the draft. They didn't. And I'll tell you this, Lamont, now we're seeing that they did care about stopping the run. And you know what I think that we're finally admitting, Lamont? I think we're admitting it without saying it. We failed with Mozzie Smith. We failed with Mozzie Smith. And we might even want to say we failed Mozzie Smith. We failed. This is his third year, 3 different weight fluctuations, 3 different defensive coaches, and we still don't know where Mozzie fits in. And I thought he looked better in the Zimmer system. I thought he was really showing some promise in the Zimmer system, but now we are back to to me at least, a Dan Quinn similar system. Here we go again. And he's just maybe not for that system, and some have questioned whether or not he even loves football. I'm not going to question necessarily what's in the man's mind, but I do think this may be a blessing in disguise for Mozzie, because now maybe Mozzie, in some type of rotation, won't have to play the 1, but he gets to play the 3. We'll see how it works out. But we know now. The Cowboys were basically saying, man, we've tried to actually address the run in the draft, and it just hasn't worked out for us. And I told you, I was confident. I didn't think the Cowboys were going to trade Micah Parsons, but I was confident. That the Cowboys were going to address that one-tech thing. I was confident. I was holding out hope. I said, I believe the Cowboys are going to address the one-tech. I didn't know they were going to address it this extreme, but they addressed it. They addressed it. I like how they addressed it. Ron Hanna said, I also realized having Micah here would have compromised this coaching staff. Do we really want this for Brian? Ron Hanna, straight up facts, bro. They were never going to be able to have the culture that they wanted with him, and they know it. They absolutely know it. All right. Sam Neal, appreciate that super chat. He said, hey, G, I'm hoping Trayvon Diggs is next to go. He is. I believe he is. But we got to understand what the Cowboys have to do. The Cowboys have to let Trayvon Diggs prove himself. If Trayvon Diggs can prove that he's a valuable cornerback, you never know. Could circle the block on this thing with Green Bay, and we might come back to Green Bay again. You never know. Yeah, I love it. Ronan the Voice, he said Green Bay, Parsons, he's your problem now. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Enter the Diluvian. He said a single trade just threw every NFC expectation out the window. Heck, it changed the whole conference. Great job, General Manager. You just traded a guy with that much impact on league predictions. Hey, let me tell you something, Enter the Diluvian. I was looking at this the other day, and I think we'll do this for fun before the season starts. Y'all do realize I showed you last night where quite a bit of Micah Parsons sacks have come from. The Giants, the Commanders, both of those teams, and then the Carolina Panthers. But now he goes into a conference. If I'm not mistaken, what is it? The Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings, and we think the up-and-coming Chicago Bears. It's not the same, bro. I'm telling y'all, Michael, it's not the same. And I'm gonna tell you now, I'm a Texas native. You're not getting me to go to Green Bay and play. I promise you're not getting me to go to Green Bay and play outdoors, playing in the cold. Even if you get the home field advantage, you're playing in the cold and the ice. I wish I would. Not me. Not me. We're acting like that Micah is a world beater. Because if Micah is a world beater, then we should be further than we've been in the playoffs. He's been on the team. No. He gonna find out just like a lot of people do. It's different when you start going to places like that and playing. Oh yeah, Matt LaFleur is definitely a great offensive coordinator. He does great for the Green Bay Packers. All right, let me read a couple more. Let me read some super chats here. Junior, appreciate you. He said people have to understand stopping the run isn't just about getting bodies. It's a mindset, a culture change. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree with you. Edward Frazier, he gave Michael a test and he fails. Can you lead? Straight up. Straight up. All right, let's get it.
Tommy Orsh, DallasCowboys.com. Brian, some of the defensive ends in the locker room were saying that Micah texted the group chat last night. Have you talked to him since it happened? Did you exchange any sort of communication?
I saw Micah yesterday, but I have not. But that doesn't surprise me. You know, Mike is part of our family. You know, that doesn't change. When you leave the team, it doesn't. Zach Martin's still part of the family, you know. It doesn't change. And it makes me.
Brian, I'm going to disagree with you right here. Brian, Michael refused to be in the family, bro. You do know this, right? Michael's not in the family, Brian. You're going to see Micah Parsons in 4 weeks, and Micah Parsons is literally going to be trying to put your quarterback out the game. You do know that, right, Brian? Nah, bro, you're not family no more when you're not in this locker room. You're not family no more. Not to me. No, now you're a friend and an associate, but you are not. You are not a part of the family. No, not for me. This dude will literally be trying to take your quarterback's head off in another 4 weeks. And I guarantee you, he's got the Cowboys circled on that game. Not only does he have the Cowboys circled on that game, the Cowboys will probably make the playoffs, and I got a feeling we're going to see the Green Bay Packers not once but twice. My man Robert M., what's going on? He said this year, the in-season NFL trade deadline is the Tuesday following the completion of the Week 9 games. I got a feeling Trayvon Diggs, if he comes out and do well, the Cowboys may be looking to trade him once Savon Revel Jr. is ready to go. All right, let's listen to some more, Brian.
That, you know, those guys are still going to be close. Shoot, we see them here in a couple weeks, right? It's like, you know, that'll be one that it'll be a ball. But like, that's what I want, because what that means, Tommy, is that we are building the right type of culture where, hey, Mike is going on to Green Bay, but he's still part of the family here. And again, great memories with him and the guys in that locker room.
And then with Kenny, you mentioned this being a game week. What's kind of the plan for him this week, and then how much do you anticipate him playing on Thursday?
Yeah, again, I think, you know, he does have some he's been, you know, playing in similar systems and has some exposure to Flus's system. He's a pro. He'll have no problem getting up to speed, so you should expect to see him out there.
Scala.
Skyfix with the AP. This seems like a less than ideal way to kick off your head coaching career, losing perhaps your best player a week before the season. You talked about feeling the need to reach out to the players. How do you sort of?
I'm tired of this talk right here. Micah Parsons was never the best player on the Dallas Cowboys. It's garbage. I can't stand that talk. If I was Dak Prescott, it would offend me to levels that were unmeasurable. I'm sorry, a player that is not ball dominant, a player that is not creating massive turnovers. He's not a Deion Sanders type of player. He is not the best player. He was not the best player on the Dallas Cowboys, because doggone it, if he was the best player on the Dallas Cowboys, then what does that say about the Green Bay Packers? Well, he immediately must be the best player on their team. Just bull junk. Don't like it. This is another reason why I'm glad this kind of talk is going to be out of here.
A happy face on this for yourself.
I mean, again, we've got lots of really good players, and again.
You don't win Super Bowls necessarily with the greatest player. You win Super Bowls with the best team. The best team.
You know, I'm never going to change who I am. I understand what we've been tasked with from the minute I took this job. We're the Dallas Cowboys. I'm the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and I stared right down the barrel of the gun and said, "Hey, I want to win a Super Bowl." And so that doesn't change. You know, you work and you get excited about the pieces that we've added. Again, it's been really cool to see the guys, wrap their arms around Kenny and some of the other guys that we've brought in. Because, again, that's what's going to get us through the tough points in the season, whatever those look like. You know, it's going to be the culture that we've created. And, again, I don't sit around and think about, oh, this is my first year as a head coach. This is part of the business, and I'm comfortable with that.
Garrett.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Brian, what would you say to people who question how does this bring the Cowboys closer to that goal-winning world championship, trading away someone who had 12 sacks in the last 4 years?
Yeah, I would say Mike is an incredible player. Nobody disputes that. He's a great player, but this is the ultimate team game. You know, it's the ultimate team game, and we're not going to win a championship with just one person. You know, it's going to take variations of the 69 guys plus that we have on this roster, and injuries are a big part of this, and we've built our depth up, and we've done those things. But, those would be the things that I would say is that, again, at the end of the day, this is the greatest team sport in the world, and to do that, you have to have pieces in place, and I think we have a lot of really good players in place.
Just quickly, how do you feel Kenny Clark fits into what Matty Eberflus wants to do, that kind of attack front style?
Yeah, I think it's a great fit, Garrett. I think, when you look at this guy, the way he plays the game, the way he, comes off the ball north and south, his hands are incredibly violent. This is a guy, I go back to my days in Seattle playing against this guy, and it was like, he's just an all-day battle matchup. He's battle-hardened. But, wow, what a just incredible young man. And I think he is really excited about the opportunity to be a Dallas Cowboy, and I'm excited to get a chance. I have not met his wife and his two young daughters, but can't wait to meet them.
Joe.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. You talked about the communication and the player acquisition all year long. In this case in particular, how much communication and what was kind of the overdrive with Kenny specifically in terms of saying, hey, that's a guy that we would like as a coaching staff? Yeah, again, you guys have been around for a while, and again, when you want to stop the run, it's really important to have the pieces to do that. And so this is a guy that, having competed against him, was a huge piece of this puzzle. Like, quite honestly, if Kenny Clark's not in this deal, it may or may not happen. But, I've played against this guy, Joe, for so many matchups, and he's just so disruptive in there. And I think in this front, with what he can do, with the depth that we have, with him and Osa in there, a couple UCLA Bruins, I think that gets me really, really excited. And again, it's really hard when you're standing on the sidelines and you're like, oh man, hey, they're chipping away at us in the running game. And you guys have talked about that. You have to be, strong up the middle. And that was an area that we felt very strong about, that we wanted to get better at. Player leadership is obviously.
Okay, let me read a couple of super chats. I think what I'm going to have to do tonight, we're going to come back and do Cowboys After Dark I've been talking about it. We're going to have to do it. I got a dinner engagement tonight, so I'm going to have to get off here in a few minutes. But I want to read something that super chat here from Gene Martz. This is a very powerful one. He says, G, looking back now, do we think there was a reason Micah's and Dak's locker were moved side by side? I do. One, I believe the Cowboys were hoping the leadership of Dak Prescott was going to rub off on Micah Parsons. Two, I believe the Cowboys thought that maybe even the way Dak Prescott handled his contract situation, that maybe he would have leaned on Dak Prescott more in that particular instance. How do you respond to this? And it just goes to show you that it didn't, it didn't work and it wasn't going to work. It didn't work and it was not going to work. And I want to show us something here real fast as we're talking about Micah Parsons and they're talking about what he meant to the team. I want to take y'all back to 2023. I'm just giving you the facts. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just giving you the facts on why the Cowboys needed to do this with Micah Parsons, because he was basically a one-trick pony. I want you to look at Micah Parsons in the 2023 season in particular. I want you to notice he got 14 sacks in 2023, but that's not the whole story. Let me show you the story. Look at the teams and look at the scores. The New York Giants, trash, 40-0, 1 sack. The New York Giants were trash, 30-10. He got 2 sacks. The Arizona Cardinals beat us. He got 1 sack. NWE, doggone it. What is that? Is that the New England Patriots? I think it's the New England Patriots. Let me make sure. Who is that? Okay, New England Patriots. New England Patriots. We beat the brakes off of him 38-3. He had 0 sacks. This one here, I'm thinking San Francisco. San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco 49ers bludgeoned us 42-0. Micah Parsons, 0 sacks. Los Angeles Chargers, we beat them 2017, 1 sack. Los Angeles Rams, we beat them 43-20. He had 1 sack. Philadelphia Eagles, we lost. He had 1.5 sacks, though. New York Giants, we beat them 49-17. He had 0 sacks. Carolina Panthers, that's the team that he had the majority of his sacks of the whole season, right? 2.5 sacks. Now, I want you to see what happened the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the last 7 games of the season. These are the money games. This is when the competition got a little bit better. 1.5 sacks against the Washington Redskins. They were terrible. We blew them out 45-10. Seattle Seahawks, we won 41-35. It was a shootout. He had 0 sacks. Philadelphia Eagles, we won 33-13. He had 1 sack. Watch this in that stretch where Dak was going for that MVP. Buffalo Bills, we lost 0 sacks, 31-10. Miami Dolphins, we lost 22-20. We lost by 1 inch. Tony Pollard, for whatever reason, 1 inch couldn't get in. 22-20. He had half a sack. Detroit Lions in that very controversial game, 2019, 0 sacks. And then finished it off against the terrible Washington Redskins, 1 sack, 38-10. And then in the playoffs, you'd have to check the scorecard to see if he was even there. Look at this. 0 sacks. He had 1 assisted tackle and 1 solo tackle. This is what the Cowboys looked at. This is what they looked at. And I'm telling you, all these people who be touting all this generational this and generational that, and then every time that we say that, okay, he wasn't this and he wasn't that, and then the people who hate the stats, they run to the stats. And then they say, I don't like the stats, but let me run to the stats. He's the most double team player in the whole league. We run, it's like with Micah Parsons, we want to make him be this mythical unicorn. Cowboys can very well do without him because they built the team to play without him. I'm just showing you the facts. That's all I'm showing you. The last 7 games of the season, the man had 2.5 sacks. And when you look at the best competition the Cowboys played against, show me again where he showed up. Show me again where he showed up against the 49ers. Show me again 1 sack against the Chargers. Show me again where did he show up against the meat of the schedule, the Seattle Seahawks. Show me where he showed up. The Philadelphia Eagles were reeling in 2023. Buffalo Bills, where did he show up? Miami Dolphins, where's the game changing? Looks like he had maybe 7 combined tackles in that game. But we want him to get to the passer. Show me. Show me in Detroit. Show me. I'm just telling us the truth on this thing with Micah Parsons, and I'm telling you, the Dallas Cowboys looked very closely at this and said, bro, the definition of insanity is do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, at least according to Einstein. What can we do different to help us stop the run and still be able to stop the pass? Oh, I know. Maybe we trade Micah Parsons for a defensive tackle. Maybe we bring in some other pass rushers and understand that we don't have to have 1 pass rusher. How about we get 4? Yeah, makes sense to me. Tony Luzzatto, appreciate that super chat. Yes, sir. He said, toward your dinner, thank you for your content. Yes, sir. I'll definitely use it. We'll use it. Yes, sir. I appreciate you. God bless you on that one. All right, let's listen to some more Shotty. I'm just telling you what we're going to do tonight, guys. Y'all make sure if you hadn't hit that notification bell, hit that notification bell. We're going to come back tonight, and we're going to finish up this entire show. I'm not letting this one go. We're going to finish up this entire show at midnight tonight on Cowboys After Dark. But we're going to listen to a few more minutes of Brian Schottenheimer. We'll probably get out here around 6:30, 6:35.
Huge part of culture when something like this happens. How much do you rely on a guy like Dak Prescott, who obviously is a big leader in there?
Yeah, of course. Dak was one of the guys that I called when this happened, along with, again, 12 or 14 other guys. And again, there's the leaders of this team and the players that I spoke to appreciated me taking the time to call them, and I appreciated being able to have these real conversations with them. And I think that that's part of how you move forward, is you have conversations. And again, a lot of coaches probably don't feel that way, but I thought it was very important that once this happened, that they heard it from me. A lot of them had heard it broke, pretty quick, which it does nowadays. But you still get on the phone and you say, "Yo, what's up? It's Shotty. Got a few minutes," and you visit.
Let me tell you what's so powerful about what Brian did. And this is why I'm glad it's him and not Mike McCarthy. Brian stays in constant communication with his team. I guarantee you the Cowboys were already prepared for this. The leaders of this team were pretty much already prepared. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people could actually see where this was going. I'm telling y'all, if I could feel it, if some of y'all could feel it, and we're not even in the locker room, if we could feel that this was different, how many times did y'all hear me say, this ain't quite like Dak and CD Lamb? This isn't the same. If I could feel it, you already know these players could feel it. I don't think these players were caught off guard. But let me show you somewhere else where this dude, Brian Schottenheimer, is genius. He calls the players so that they unequivocally know, I'm in agreement with this. I'm not calling you to tell you what Jerry did. Are y'all hearing me? I'm not calling you to tell you what Jerry did. I'm calling you to tell you what we did. And the team, I'm sure some of them were in on it because Jerry already said they called a leadership council. But nevertheless, let me tell you what we did. You always want your team. I'm going to give Shotty, this is the one thing I got to give him credit for. He has always made sure that he has given the face of unity. It don't matter if Brian don't agree. I'm already learning that about Brian. Brian is not going to do what coaches have done here in the past. I promise you he's not going to do it. He is not going to go against Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones in the front office in the court of public opinion. We've seen every coach here do it, maybe with the exception of Jason Garrett. We've seen every coach do it. We've seen Bill Parcells. We've seen Mike McCarthy. We've seen coaches in the past. They've all done it. Brian ain't going to do it. Brian understands that if you're trying to really galvanize a team, you even got to make sure that that even you and the ownership are on the same page. And so Brian didn't call them saying, hey, let me tell you what Jerry did. No, let me tell you what we did. Y'all remember that conversation we had and we asked y'all, what would y'all think about if we traded Micah Parsons? Y'all remember that conversation? Well, we did it. We did it, and we're moving forward. We're moving forward, and we got a job to do. I gotta applaud him. I gotta applaud him on this. This man is trying to insulate his team. He's trying to insulate his team. And this is one of the places I think a lot of people have failed. They have not been able to insulate this team from the media. And the media around the Cowboys is mad media. Brian is like, nah, bro, let me talk to you. You remember what we talked about? Yeah, we did it. Now we continue on. We do. Miss Major said, I want to agree so bad, G. Yes, this issue was never Micah. It's the front office. It's been going on before he got here, so what makes us think it stops now? This what they've done. Miss Matrix, when you're willing to let go of a player like Micah Parsons, just like I said before, this was not just on the field thing. This was an off the field thing as much as it was an on the field thing. Miss Matrix, they've been begging for Micah Parsons to get out of this organization. James Slater reported on this. This organization was begging. Players had problems with this dude. And even when they told Michael they had the problems, he was still coming on social media talking about, I wish I would, after Stephen A. Smith just signed a deal he signed, I wish I would quit doing my podcast. Bro, this is not about football to you anymore. This is not about football. No, the Cowboys, Miss Matrix, you watch what I tell you. This team is going to, you just watch how much freer they're going to play. You watch how we're not going to miss. We're not going to miss the 1 to 2 sacks that Micah Parsons was getting for us because I'm promising us we're going to have multiple players getting sacks. Donovan Ezeraku. There is nothing in my mind that tells me that Dante Fowler got to the passer without Micah Parsons last year. He'll be able to do it again. Sam Williams will be able to get to the quarterback. Donovan Ezeraku will be able to get to the quarterback. James Houston, y'all watch what I tell you, will get to the quarterback. Perry Young Winfrey will get to the quarterback. Also Digizua will get to the quarterback. Kenny Clark will get to the quarterback. This was the worst year for Micah Parsons to leave the Cowboys because the Cowboys had built so much firepower around him that if they would have got this together, man, they would have been spectacular with him. I think they're going to be spectacular without him. Ron Hanna said, man, I was done with him after he put out that letter, G. You know where I was, Ron Hanna. When you say you didn't want to play for the team, that did it for me too. He said, I don't understand our fan base wanting a player who told you he didn't want to be here, and his body language told us that. Yeah. And I even think it's more fascinating that he said after it broke about the Green Bay, it leaked about Green Bay, we reached out to the Cowboys with sympathy. No, you didn't. No, you reached out and said, Green Bay wants us. I'm not playing on that 5th-year option. Green Bay wants us, trade me. Jerry said, no, we're not doing this no more. LaQueen Jackson said, how do you spell relief? I know how you spell it, LaQueen. MICHAPARSONS. Micah Parsons. I know how you spell it. I know how you spell it. There are just some people that are not worth it. They're just not worth it. They're not. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I got a dinner engagement. We are coming back tonight for Cowboys After Dark. Cowboy fans, salute. The Cowboys are going to be better than good without Micah Parsons. You watch how free this team plays. We are about to go into the Lions' den. And like Daniel, I believe we are going to succeed. I believe the Cowboys have the opportunity now without Micah Parsons to blow the doors off the Philadelphia Eagles because nobody knows, not even us. We don't even know what the Dallas Cowboys starting team looks like. We don't know. We haven't seen them all together. We haven't seen them play together other than training camp. I'm so ready to get this thing going. And now, we don't have the Micah Parsons saga dragging us down. Now we can focus on football. We're going to get past this tonight. We'll cover a couple of more things this weekend, but going into Monday, it is all Dallas Cowboys and nothing else for me. I am going to turn the page on Micah Parsons after this Sunday. I'm turning the page. I'm turning the page. All I'm talking about is the players on this team. We are going to focus on the Dallas Cowboys, and I am glad. I don't want to be a part of the spreader of the Cowboys' misery. I want to spread the joy of being a fan of the Dallas Cowboys. All right, guys, appreciate y'all rocking with me. Hit that notification bell. I'll see y'all at midnight. Y'all put what you think about this in the description. In the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. Until the next time, DC4L. God bless. Let's talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace.